Hi friends, welcome back. I know I have been irregular. I have not been posting much, but I would be regular now. My promise to you. So today I made it a point to do a video on Sunday because on Friday morning everybody got the news that Piyush Pandey, the legendary ad man, had passed away, and it was a shock for everyone. So there was an outpouring of grief and emotions from people in advertising who have worked with him, and also from business community and from people who were touched by his communication and the ads that he created in the last 40 years. So that's Piyush Pandey. So the context of this video is that I will talk about his book. This is called Pandeymonium. It's a pun on the word Pandeymonium, and this came out about 9 years back. It's an interesting book. It lays out the philosophy of Piyush Pandey, how he approached communication. He had this human touch. But I'll come to this book in a bit. Let me give you the context of Piyush Pandey. Why is he so important? Why there was so much of emotional outpouring from the people when they got the news that he's passed away. So let's kind of rewind to late 70s. Piyush Pandey was born in 1955 in Rajasthan, in Jaipur, and it was a large family, very middle class family. I think he has got 8 brothers and sisters. One of his sisters is very popular, Ila Arun, and one of his brothers, his younger brother, is also in film production, which is ad films and advertising. Prasoon Pandey, not Prasoon Joshi, Prasoon Pandey. Anyway, coming back to Piyush, normal childhood in Jaipur. Then he came to Delhi, got admission in St. Stephen's, and he was very fond of cricket at that time. He remained fond of cricket throughout his life, but he was a fairly good player, wicketkeeper, batsman, and he played for his college, Stephens. Then he played inter-college. Then he played for his state, Rajasthan Ranji team. So he played 5 matches. So he was not just somebody who was enthusiastic about cricket. He was genuinely a cricket player. And as luck would have it, he had many contemporaries, people who played with him. So Kapil Dev was a cricketer that had just come up at that time. He played with Kapil Dev, and one of his college batchmates, Arun Lal, who remained a close friend with him for his whole life, played for India later on as a technically strong opening batsman. So he had these people around him. He played cricket. So he thought that my life is made. When he finished his college, he played for Rajasthan Ranji team, and he thought, okay, this is good, life is fine. And then, as luck would have it, he was dropped after 5 matches when he could not really perform well, and he was left searching for a job because it's a middle class family and you need a job. And back then India was very different. It was 1980. So he got a job in a tea plantation in somewhere in Assam, where he got a job as a tea taster. On paper it seemed like an interesting job. You are in a beautiful green space and you are tasting tea and you are getting paid for it. But somehow his heart was not into it. And after 2 years, he decided to quit. And he spread the word among his friends that, okay, no, I'm looking for a job. And back then, life in corporate India also was not so structured like it is now. So one thing led to another, and he landed up in Bombay. It was called Bombay at that time. It was 1982. Through somebody, he went and met people at Ogilvy. It was called Ogilvy, Benson and Mathur, which is OBM. And he got a job, not in the creative department. He got a job on the business side, which is account executive. An account executive is somebody who has to coordinate between the agency's creative team and the client. And it's a bridge between the client and the agency. So it's more of a business job than a creative job. However, Piyush was very interested in Hindi, and he has a certain personality which is like, he's rooted to the ground. He has a touch with the common people. Anybody he meets, he leaves an impression. So all these qualities were coming into the fore, and he started helping out the language department with Hindi ads, translation of ads into Hindi. And he started doing a good job. and he was noticed. And then it was somewhere in 1987, Indian government had decided that they would run a national integration campaign because it's 40 years since independence, and the mandate was given to Ogilvy. And Suresh Malik, who was the creative head of Ogilvy, he was a English speaking person, and he realized that they need a film in Hindi. So they roped in Piyush, and that is how Piyush's first big break came. It was Mile Sur Mera Tumhara. That film is on YouTube. Please see it. It's a most iconic film. It will bring tears of joy when you watch it. It's a beautifully. This is how a country talks about unity. It is so inclusive, which might seem odd in these times when everybody is kind of fighting with everyone else in India. But that was a different time. So that film was a huge success. Please see it on YouTube. So after that, Piyush was given more and more creative work, and officially he was transferred to the creative department. And his one contribution, one singular contribution to Indian advertising is that he brought in the sensibility of a common man on the street into advertising, because till then advertising was very much English speaking, led by people who were educated in Stephens and other colleges, and who were actually almost Britishers. Like their perspective was that of a very English speaking audience. So he brought in this earthiness, the connect with the masses. Over the next 25 years, he did campaigns for many brands. You would know all those ads. Asian Paints, Har Ghar Kuch Kehta Hai, Fevicol Ka Jod, Cadbury's Dairy Milk, lots of ads of that brand, Vodafone, and many more. Like, you can check those ads out on social media and on YouTube. But why he matters so much? I mean, there are people in advertising, in creative, done some great films, won many awards. But what makes Piyush special is the fact that he changed the face of not just Indian advertising. He had impact on the India's cultural life. His ads went beyond just advertising. They were they were discussed. They were talked about. People loved it. People could relate to it. So it is interesting because it is not just somebody creating good ads. It's somebody creating cultural impact. Two things. One is that Piyush's own persona of a warm, large-hearted man, connecting with people. He believed in connecting with people. He believed in staying connected to your roots, staying in touch with your friends from school. All those things he believed and practiced. Importantly, he was responsible for making a big shift in Indian advertising. He forced people to think in Hindi language, talk in Hindi. So Hindi actually became the language of advertising only after Piyush succeeded. Till that time, if you could not speak impeccable English, you had no scope of getting a job in an ad agency. Anyway, coming to now, this book actually is a very good distillation of his philosophy. So he's not a great one for reading management books. He's not a great one for looking at jargon, marketing research. No, in fact, I will quote some passages from the book. Like he says that a lot of times people talk about being Indian, being patriotic, being nationalistic. So he said one very interesting thing. He says, I do not wear my nationalism on my sleeve. I wear my nationalism, my Indianness in my heart. So that is such a nice thing to say. Like, he is not being jingoistic. He has a great pride in Indianness, in being rooted, and using that Indianness to create communication that touches the hearts of the people. So this book is full of stories behind some great campaigns that he created, like Asian Paints. So a client had come to them. Asian Paints is a very old company. It was started pre-independence. Until 80s, the company was a typical company doing some corporate ads, nothing to do with consumers. Company was doing well. Whatever they produced was sold. But in the 90s, Piyush started working on the brand, he actually brought in a very human dimension. So his one simple thought was, a home is not about how good or beautiful it is. It is not the quality of paint. It is the people inside and the emotions and the stories that makes a home home. And he wrote a very simple line, हर घर कुछ कहता है. Each home tells a story. So likewise, he worked on many brands. He worked from the heart. He was not into jargon, research, too many things in terms of backgrounder. He would just go to a client's office, listen to the client, go to the factory, talk to the consumers. He would get ideas from people. Like he got one idea from his mother. So after he had done well for himself, he thought he'll buy a gift for his mother. And he thought, what should I buy for her? And that story is recounted nicely here. So he thought that my mother has got lots of things, even jewelry, gold and all. So he thought she does not have diamonds. So he and his brother, they bought beautiful diamonds, went to their mother in Jaipur and presented the diamonds to her. By that time, she was around 80 years old. तो शी सेज कि मैं तो इतनी बूढ़ी हूँ, इन डायमंड्स का मैं क्या करूँगी. सो पीयूष रिस्पॉन्डेड सेइंग कि हीरे को क्या पता तुम्हारी उम्र क्या है. एंड दैट लाइन देन ही यूज्ड फॉर SBI लाइफ. सो दैट लाइन इज़ वेरी मेमोरेबल. यू कैन सी द TVC on air. It's on YouTube. Check it out. So he was a good observer of life, good observer of people around him. And one more thing, he had a touch with not just his colleagues, everybody, right from the doorman to the office boy, and when he was shooting, the spot boy, everybody had a connection with him. So that is what makes Piyush very, very special. This is a good book. It's not a very thick book, and it is written in his style, which is like, I think he got one journalist, Anant Rangaswamy, to collaborate with him. And so this book has got all the stories that you may want to read. And it has got, you can see those ads that he has done. And there are many ads, look at those ads. So there are stories of these ads. Also, each chapter has got one key idea. Like he mentions that in terms of great ideas, he says that great ideas come from teamwork. And he actually gave examples from the cricketing world, because he remained a cricketer throughout his life. So he would have phrases like, ye teamwork hai. And he was a great believer in teamwork. Or if he wanted his team to go out and aggressively sell an idea, he would tell them ki front foot pe khelo. So he had this very earthy, colloquial words, and he was not into any of those management jargon and all. So his philosophy is kind of summed up. So each chapter talks about one idea of his, and then what he believes in, and then he gives an example of how he used that idea to create something interesting. So it's a good book. You can buy it in case you are figuring out what the fuss is all about, Piyush, what's the big deal. And one last point I would say is that a lot of times, now having said all these things, I want you to also know that we give too much importance to an individual, even if it's Piyush and no doubt talented and all that. But we sometimes forget that there is something called timing. So he was the right man at the right place at the right time. So we should not just look at an individual in isolation. It is not about just the brilliance of a man. You need a time and a place. So India in the 80s was changing. A lot of people talk about 91, which is year of liberalization, and India became a liberalized economy. Not enough people talk about the fact that India actually had started changing in the mid 80s, because I lived through those times. I was in school at that time. We saw perceptible change in the energy, perceptible change in our lifestyle, in the way things were happening. So the ground was being laid. Piyush entered advertising at that time. So the influence of British companies, which were based in Calcutta, had gone down by the 70s. There were Indian companies, and there were also multinationals coming into India. And Indian middle class was expanding. television had just come in and it had become big. So there were a lot of TV serials in the 80s, like Mahabharata, Ramayana, Hum Log, Bunyad, and you would know that list goes on. So there was a medium available. You could do one ad and that would be seen by the entire country. That does not happen now because we are totally fragmented. Everybody's got their individual screen and it's nearly impossible to reach the entire India in one go. But this was possible in the 80s and early 90s because there was only Doordarshan and everybody was watching it in the evening. So there was a thing of, timing also. So his talent is undeniable, but we should also keep in mind that it was the time and a place. Like India was the way it was a fertile ground for someone like Piyush to come in and make an impact. Anyway, I can talk more about him, and I am from advertising, so I can actually tell more detailed stories about Piyush and Ogilvy. But yeah, this is a good starting point for anyone who does not know much about advertising per se. It's a very human book, it's a very engaging book, it's a fun book, and it's an easy book to read. And it's available online, it's available in bookstores. Yeah, so pick it up if this review got you interested. And thank you very much. And I will be bringing more stories, more reviews, and I'll be doing reviews every day, my promise to you. I have a stack of books that I've read in my room. They are on my bookshelf. So I have to do literally 30 reviews in next 15 days. So please stay tuned and show support. And you are a bunch of interesting and nice people. Please tell me in comments anything you would want me to review or what you thought of this review. It would be nice to hear from you. So thank you very much. Thank you.